Hello and welcome everyone. Today's expert discussion panel that's called Smart Airports starts with Smart Tech, Facial Biometrics for APAC Airports. My name is Christina. I'm a part of the RecFaces team, and I'm really delighted to guide you through this discussion today. So it's not a secret that airports worldwide are facing an era of rapid transformation driven by increasing passenger demand and the need for smarter, more efficient operations. And according to the actually a recent data research, the International Revenue Passenger Kilometer, RPK, saw a 12.4% year-over-year growth in January 2025, underscoring the increasing reliance on innovative solutions. So at the same time, the APAC region really stands out as one of the world's fast expanding, fast growing aviation market. And today we will actually talk about the peculiarities of the development of the aviation market for the APAC airports. And now, dear public, dear audience, so let me present our three distinguished experts that have joined us today for this amazing webinar. Let's start with Oleg Kurochkin, who is Business Development Director for APAC at RecFaces. Oleg, you are very welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Dr. Ajay Talwar, who is Head of Business Verticals, India and SAARC at Bosch Security and Safety Systems. Dr. Ajay, you are very welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Christina, and best wishes. It's my pleasure joining this lovely session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Gaurang Harit, Project Director at Malaysia Airports. Gaurang, you are very welcome, and thank you for joining us. So now let's just set the stage. Let's take a closer look at the key trends and challenges that are shaping the industry, the APAC aviation industry. And for that, I would like to hand it over to Gaurang Harit, Projects Director Aviation at Malaysia Airports, to share his insights. Gaurang, the virtual stage is yours. So please share your experience and your insights.
Thank you, Christina. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's really exciting when we are speaking about how the aviation industry, by and large, is booming up in the APAC region. So definitely, there are a lot of industry trends which are ongoing. And I would say this is like the point of transformation. Every day you see new things happening over there. So, just if we just go speak about the kind of growth that APAC aviation market is growing through, it's almost like close to 56%, and that's where like it's a major increase when you compare it to the global passenger traffic, which in itself is like a significant factor for everyone who is working in aviation. It's an exciting time for them. And what essentially is happening is like while we are speaking about the post-COVID recovery, so unlike what was being expected during the pandemic, the passenger traffic has been like it is outgrowing the kind of expectations what were being set forth, and it'll be close to 10 billion with almost a 5% growth rate year on year. And I think this is something which is really a tremendous, and a lot many people, passengers, will be taking these airports, will be using every day these airports. So what is also important in this one is because what generally happens is like while there are enough growth opportunities around there, but also what really become imminent out there is that the kind of challenges what our existing airports face with these rising passenger volumes, I think those are the key areas which once addressed also leads to a lot of digitalization and the kind of transformation programs that the airports are now looking forward to.
Thank you very much, Gaurang, for sharing the insights. And probably you could just somehow walk us through the main trends and the challenges that airports in the APAC region are still facing. What are the main?
Sure. So, first thing which I'm sure that all of you would agree as a passenger, when we travel to an airport, the only thing what we want to avoid is we don't want to wait. We just want to quickly pass through all the processors, check in to your security lines, immigration, boarding process and all, like just without any kind of queues. And I think that's where, like, because of with the in the last one and a half decade, what has essentially happened is that while a lot of airports had been privatized, the governments and aviation ministries have been working hand in hand together to provide a more seamless experience to the travelers. So with the kind of globalization, passengers are not just wanting an airport to pass through and then just to take a flight from one destination to the other. What they're really looking forward to is an immersive and a more seamless experience when they're traveling through. Because now they are not, even if they are traveling through any part of the world, they will be comparing that airport with the best of the experiences which they might get across the benchmarking of Singapore, Dubai, and other airports. And I think that's where it becomes an opportunity and also a challenge for every airport, that how do they actually meet up the demands and the expectations of these passengers.
Yeah, sure. It's actually quite a big concern, right? In terms of the passengers and how rapid the whole process can be. And here is another question that I have, Gaurang. So, is there a demand from the passengers in the region for using of some advanced technologies, advanced solutions?
So I would say that indeed that's one of the key things, because even if you refer the global passenger survey from IATA, so that also clearly reflects that 73% of the passengers would be more interested in using the biometric data and the other digital touch points rather than just using the physical boarding passes and their passports, right? Because that's what, like, if your face becomes your passport, that's what, like, people would be more interested in, rather than carrying a lot of different IDs, put them all together and trying to get up in queues to get them validated across different checkpoints. So, and I think that's also something which the market wants, because if I speak, I mean, while developing airports and doing all the airport projects, what I've particularly seen is that now when you have, because you cannot just build up an aviation project or an airport within uh, a constrained budget. It takes a lot and lot of money and a couple of years to actually expand the overall space within an airport. So in order to cater with the growing passenger volumes and also to cater with the expectations of the passengers, uh, the easier way to do it, or the more better way to do is while digitalizing the checkpoints or the processing checkpoints what we have through different, like, check-in or immigration or whatever it is. And I think that's where the biometrics and the other kind of technologies plays a pivotal role.
Thank you very much for such a deep insight. And probably now what I'm thinking about is that I believe that expanding, for example, the physical infrastructure, as you also partially have already mentioned, can really take years, right? But if we are talking about using the digital solutions and some kind of digital automatization process, right? So from my point of view, it might be slightly easier, right? And can help manage increasing passenger volumes today. What do you think about it?
I think very well said, because that's the key requirement of either it's about the aviation as a business or aviation as a service, or also from a passenger experience perspective, because automation and intelligent airport controls management systems are not being just a kind of an option anymore, but what indeed become is more of a necessity, right? Because if you speak about the AI-driven passenger flow monitoring, or if you speak about the other time, how do you decongest the airport with the help of real-time analytics and the predictive analytics to, like, help your assets to sustain these increasing pax loads? So I think that's where, like, we also speak about a lot of times in the industry about Airport 4.0, which is like another evolution or a revolution in the airports. So Airport 4.0 is again nothing but, like, how digitally you connect across your different systems and then help to sweat out the maximum capacity of an airport to provide a seamless transfer to the passengers. So I think it's more important that rather than just focusing on expanding the infrastructure in a kind of a brick and mortar infrastructure, it's also more important to parallelly and in fact put a primary focus on expanding the capacity of your existing assets.
Thank you very much, Gaurang, for such a deep insight again. Gaurang, I have a little probably comment, a little question, and could you probably comment a bit more on GDPR regarding the data protection point?
Sure. So I think there are two key areas wherein one part is the data protection when it comes to the surveillance mechanism which are being deployed for security purpose. Because while all these systems are really important to digitalize passenger processing and all those stuff, what's also inherent and should be at the core of every deployment is that the privacy is intact for every passenger who is passing through. And that's where the strengthening on those measures, which is more about the encryption and the other technologies which are being used, and then the kind of controlled access being given to the authorities is really very important to avoid any misuse of such tech. But on the other side of it, even when we are implementing these technologies, like one of the core things which I have always seen my IT teams coming out is with cyber related to cyber security. Because what happens is like while we are transforming ourselves from a physical driven processors to digital driven processors, what is also eminent is around that cyber security remains a very crucial thing to be looked into, right? Either it's about the compliances or also protecting in those terms.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think because it's more about the border regulations entirely playing around between different countries. So that's where the GDPR rules and the other things comes into a force.
Yeah, sure. And if we're talking about, for example, the biometric identity verification, right, and automated border control, obviously it's crucial to maintain some kind of compliance, not only with, for example, GDPR, right, but also with the regional international regulations, with the local laws that might differ from one country to another. And Gaurang, I have another question. So according to the CTAS forecasts, around 70% of global airlines are expected to adopt the biometric identification by 2026. So what do you think about it? Because as far as I know, also around probably 80-90% of APAC airports are already investing in biometric systems. So what's your opinion on that?
I mean, I will just take an example of the region, what we are really focusing on, which is the APAC region, which I started with. So if we just look at the airports across Thailand, then taking that as a case reference, there are 6 major airports who've already deployed these facial recognition technologies and the biometrics. And I mean, the results were really significant because they were being able to reduce these passenger processing time significantly around it. And the other standout example, I mean, India. India is, I would say, like one of the leading examples in the global aviation, wherein even the small airports across India, I mean, they have been implementing all these digital transformation, biometrics, and the other things. And I mean, you take the examples of Delhi, Bangalore, or hub airports like Hyderabad. But if you also move to the other smaller airports like Pune, Varanasi, and the others, I think they also have been really looking deep into these kind of innovations and actually implementing it way before the guideline being set for 2026. So a lot of work has only been going to this one. And even if you look at the far east of Philippines airport, they're also like they have been launching a biometric based digital identity verification program. So I think there's a lot of stuff going around.
Yeah, so I think that it seems to be not only the APAC trend, but I would say even a global trend, right? The airports in general. And could you probably stress out again some interesting cases of airports in the region which have already implemented the facial recognition technology?
So, I mean, again, it depends upon which processor they have implemented. Like even in Malaysia airports, there are like facial technologies being implemented for certain processes around it, particularly because what is there is that as a trend, you will be seeing that it is generally being rolled out first for the same nationality. Let's say, like if in India, it's more for the Indians at the first stage because that's where you can have all the IDs and other things going around. So I think as airport adopts several different technologies, there are like other case studies which we go around it. So the other key processor is more about the boarding gate process. So while earlier it was more towards let me see about how to enter an airport or how to cross the immigration. Now it's also getting rolled out to the other processes like the boarding process in itself.
Thank you very much for giving us several examples. And now, Gaurang, based on these examples, could you please probably highlight some challenges that these airports might face when using the facial biometrics technology in general in the region?
I think the first part is about integrating these several different fragmented technologies into one platform. Because while airport with a central operational databases would be willing to optimize and enhance the efficiencies of these systems, what becomes a challenge is that all of these are being provided by different OEMs and the kind of integrated technology platform, which is easy to, I mean, migrate from one to the other one. So I think that becomes a challenge. And what happens as a result out of it is more towards the cost inefficiency, right? Because when the airports are managing these several systems rather than having a unified approach around it. So additionally, it means that you have to spend more on the staff, you have to spend more on the training which is required, and you also have a limited interchangeability of these staff across different positions. So that's where the operational inefficiencies creep in. So I mean, if you have these solutions which have a unified approach and that can be implemented across different processes, either it's a check-in or a immigration or a security or a boarding process, then I think it makes more sense. Because let's say if you have an airport operator who is having maybe a or 10 airports or a 200 airports, like a national operator like Airport Authority of India, if I speak about like the big ones over there, either Malaysia Airports, like we are holding 39 airports. So for us, what happens is that if there is a unified approach, then it makes more sense for us because you have a central control over things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Gaurang, for such a deep explanation and deep description of the current situation in the airport industry in the APAC region. And probably before we continue our webinar, I would like to give some kind of probably a resume on this part. On the same time, I would like to highlight that we already have several questions for you from our amazing audience, but we will return to the questions by the end of the webinar. So let's just summarize. So we can say that in general, the emerging trends of the APAC region somehow pose a number of different challenges, but at the same time, this biometric facial recognition technology and high digital solutions in general are very important for the region development. And with the passenger volumes projected to increase by 5% in 2025, airports must address certain, let's call it like requirements, right? So managing high passenger flows without increasing wait times, this is something that you especially highlighted, right? Also enhancing the security while maintaining the seamless passenger journey and ensuring technology integration without daily disruptions in operations, correct?
Agreed. And I mean, I would also like to add on that, let's say if I just speak about the boarding process, then a biometric enabled or a digitalized boarding can effectively reduce the overall boarding time by 30%. And that's based on the practical studies which are being conducted through. So that's how like technology can directly enhance your operational efficiency. However, like what is really required is more about the cross-industry collaboration between airport authorities and the technology providers. So I think if that's the way, then airports today are ready to invest in these scalable and integrated technology solutions.
Thank you very much, Gaurang, for such an amazing explanation of all the details. Probably before I continue, I just would like to read out loud that we have a very interesting comment in our chat that we already have single biometric solution for passengers from airport entry point to boarding gate with integration with SBD and separate solution for staff. How can we integrate and have unified solution? So I think that it's partially a comment, partially a question, and the part of the question will again leave for after the webinar. But thank you very much for commenting on the current part of our dialogue. So again, Gaurang, thank you very much for those valuable insights. And as for me, it's absolutely clear that the APAC aviation market is undergoing a significant transformation, right? That biometrics is the heart of this evolution. And now what I would suggest is that we just delve deeper into how the facial biometrics by itself transform the market and can specifically help to address all the challenges that you have just enumerated. So with that, I actually would like to ask Oleg Kurochkin to take the stage, and I would like to hand it over to him. Oleg is responsible for the APAC region in the framework of RecFaces. So Oleg, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christina, for giving me the floor. Thank you so much, Gaurang, for those insights of yours regarding the challenges that airports face. It's true nowadays that the passenger flow is growing, the infrastructure is limited, and those insights provide a wonderful foundation to the future discussion. Well, as we just heard, airports in Asia Pacific witness unparalleled growth. So there are more and more expectations on behalf of the passengers for efficiency and convenience, both. And the industry turns to more advanced identity verification technologies because it helps to optimize operations. There are many airports across the whole Asia Pacific that already adopt these innovations because it proves its effectiveness in creating some more convenient, smooth, and secure travel experience.
Then Oleg, before we go deeper into the technology by itself, the technology of facial recognition, I would like to ask you something we keep hearing across the industry, that why is passenger experience such a hot topic right now? So why does it matter so much for the airport aviation frameworks? For me, it feels like really everyone is talking about it. So what do you think about such a point?
Thank you so much for such a deep question. Well, because it is passengers who decide. Well, as from perspective of the passenger experience, this experience has moved from being a nice to have, I mean the convenience, to a core performance metric for airports. We talk for airport challenges from a strategic operational standpoint. But let's take a moment to look at things from the passenger's perspective. Travelers, especially younger ones, are now more connected, they have higher expectations than ever before. And they do not evaluate just an airline anymore. They evaluate the entire journey. And that includes the airport, the convenience brought by the airport, I mean. The travelers nowadays want a hassle-free experience from the moment they arrive into the airport till the moment they board the flight. They expect minimal delays, smooth and fast transitions between all the checkpoints, and this process should not require them to constantly show their documents. This is the main idea. And this works mostly for younger travelers. In fact, an IATA survey shows that almost half of passengers under 25 say that the past airline experience is the key factor in choosing a flight, excluding the price. And this is a massive wake-up call, I assume.
Oleg, then I think it's a very important point regarding the age of the passengers, right, and regarding the whole process. Then, as for me, it's no longer just a privilege, it's more like a competitive advantage, correct?
Absolutely correct. And I'm talking not for younger travelers only. Across all age groups, the top deciding factor nowadays is convenient departure and arrival times. So if there are long lines, confusing navigation, outdated processes, if they disrupt the experience, and this is inevitable when traditional document verification processes are continue to be used, passengers will remember and they'll choose another airlines, another airport with, well, the airport that offers some more smooth alternatives next time.
Okay, so the focus on a passenger experience isn't just about satisfaction, right? As for me, it's about loyalty, about reputation, and long-term revenue. So it's basically must be some kind of business strategy of the airports, right?
Sure.
So now let's talk about the tech part. So what does facial biometrics actually do for the airport experience? Could you share, please?
Sure, I can. Thank you. Well, as for facial recognition, it may offer what we call a biometric-enabled fast track, where a passenger's face becomes their ticket. This concept unlocks absolutely new level of convenience across each touch point. I mean, like check-in, baggage drop, passport control, and boarding them. Every step becomes instant, intuitive, and of course, absolutely secure. And it is very powerful due to several facial biometric features like accuracy, fast recognition, and ease of use. I mean, in terms of accuracy, like the products that we, RecFaces, have, they deliver like 99.9% accuracy rate. So it's highly reliable and highly secure. The identification speed is less than 1 second. You know, like how long do people wait for their passport, for their ID to be verified? If there is no queue, surprisingly, it's from 30 to 60 seconds, luckily. And if there is a queue, you may multiply thousands of passengers and see that biometric gates deliver this technology in 1 second only. If you multiply this by thousands and hundreds of thousands of passengers, we're not just saving time. We're reclaiming hours, hundreds of hours of operational flow. We reduce delays and we free passenger of stress of missing the flight and standing in endless queues. And ease of use, yes, of course it is easy to use because the main advantage of facial biometrics is its simplicity. Because passengers no longer need to fumble with passports, boarding passes, QR codes. They just approach the terminal, look at the camera, and go. This feels effortless.
Yeah, Rick, I see. It's very easy to use the biometric technology. So, Oleg, what you're really saying is that facial recognition turns the airport journey into kind of express lane, right?
Yes, sure it is. You know, instead of passengers, as usual, adapt to the airport, now the airport adjusts to them. Whether it's redirecting them to the fastest lane, verifying their ID, or like pre-clean boarding, facial biometrics, this technology and these products that we have, it removes the slowdowns. It's a fast track experience that help the passenger feel this journey to be seamless. And in regions like Asia Pacific, where the passengers growth is skyrocketing, this kind of agility, it is essential, of course.
Yeah, I can say that that it really makes our life much easier when we are already at the airport. But so another challenge we constantly hear and we hear all the time is how confusing airports can be, right? So especially in large international hubs, that passengers get lost trying to find their way. Actually, I have been in such a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So what technology do to improve this experience?
Well, you're absolutely right. I have witnessed this myself, both in Dubai, in Istanbul, maybe Delhi. Well, when implemented, the facial recognition, when implemented, it helps to know, to cover a lot of issues, a lot of challenges. Because this convenience is not about which terminal should I go to, but we have to be more precise. It's about knowing like how to get there from where you are right now. Do I have to turn right or left? Should I go to the restroom now or there will be any? Should I shop right now or there will be a duty-free shop? So there are real everyday questions that all the travelers face on everyday basis. And often, travelers are being navigated blindly. They do not know anything. And to make things even more confusing, there are check-in desks and gates that are being changed sometimes at the last minute. And the information on the boarding pass is no more relevant. So the passenger is being left to rely on a maze of sites and assumptions. So with facial biometrics, we can completely transform this experience. When we integrate our technology into like digital mapping, digital wayfinding systems, the technology can identify the passenger by his face or her face and deliver real-time personalized navigation through the airport. It will show the correct route. This will result in that there will be fewer missed flights. The passenger flow will be more smooth and all the travelers will get to their gate stress-free. When passengers know exactly what will be there, how is their route, how does their route look like, and where are the gates situated, what is the terminal consisting of, they could better plan their time. Whether it's grabbing a coffee, going to a toilet, going to shopping, going to a smoking area, the passenger has now not to worry that he will be late. It turns the airport from a maze into a manageable, even enjoyable part of the whole travel.
So, as far as I can understand out of your speech, it's not about facial recognition doing its job at one point in the journey, right? But it's about actually intelligently orchestrating, right? I would even say improving the entire experience from the start to finish, correct?
Absolutely. What we offer with facial biometrics, it is a smart, personalized pathway for every traveler. We guide them through the airport in real time, and facial recognition helps the airport to turn into an agile, responsive environment. Something like this.
And on the airport side, so what does it mean in terms of operations?
Well, as I have just mentioned, with all these touch points equipped with facial biometrics, airports can process travelers faster than ever before. No more relying on physical documents and manual checks, just face scan and go. It looks like the biometric verification on every step, like check-in, baggage drop, Gaurang model security, and boarding. And all the processes are being done instantly. So you can board an aircraft in seconds rather than staying in a long queue for several minutes. And this will result in increasing operational efficiency, of course. Today we talk a lot about smart airport, especially like the main topic of this discussion is regarding the smart airport. But what does the smart airport mean? Instead of airport staff manually verifying all IDs at every checkpoint, biometric gates do this work in seconds. So it's highly efficient. But efficiency is not just about speed. It's about making the best use of all the available resources. By rolling out facial biometrics, airport can optimize all the resources they have, reduce reliance on manual checks, and free up staff for more critical tasks. This will lead to more flights processed per hour because of increased operational efficiency and more people coming here and there. Faster immigration clearance in seconds rather than minutes. And the most important part, because we speak mostly for the security, is that security guards and all the security staff can focus on high priority tasks requiring their presence instead of routine ID checks they are used to. And this transformation not only benefits passengers with convenience, but it allows airports optimize their resources and ensure smooth, uninterrupted operations.
That's really a very interesting point, Oleg. Thank you very much. And actually, I would like to highlight that we are constantly getting different questions and comments from our audience. So this is absolutely amazing. That means that we really have great interest for the topic. And well, coming back to the point, so the speed and comfort are important, but what about safety? So how does facial recognition improve airport security?
That's an easy question. For sure, security is something we should not negotiate in aviation. It's crucially important. And you know what's more, especially in the Asia-Pacific environment, in a high-traffic one, the security must be both convenient, fast, and highly accurate. Face recognition integrates multiple layers of artificial intelligence-driven security. It ensures real-time threat detection and fraud prevention, of course. Like the most advanced feature that we embed into our solutions of RecFaces, it's liveness detection. This capability allows the system to identify a real live person instead of this fraudulent attempt to use a photo of a video or a mask. This is critical in border control areas, especially where accurate identity verification is crucial for both security and regulatory compliance. And basically, there are instant security alerts. When this smart airport, we do provide a proactive response. The system does not just detect the fraud attempt, it acts on it immediately. When there is a person, like unauthorized or flagged individual, who tries to get access to a particular zone, we send a real-time alert to security teams, we trigger access denial, and log the event with full data like time, location, face ID, and video footage, if we talk about video surveillance. And yes, that's how it is. All the alerts are delivered through SMS, webhook, WhatsApp, Telegram, email, like it is a customizable solution. And you know, such level of automation means that security teams can shift from being reactive to be truly proactive. And they reduce the risks, all the risks in terms of security before they escalate. That's the main goal and the main idea.
Okay, so these solutions sound very powerful, to be very honest, but what about the practical side? So can they actually be integrated into existing airport system without some kind of major disruptions or anything else?
Okay, I got your point. Well, that's what we hear often. And well, the good news are that the implementation of RecFaces solution it takes surprisingly little time. I may say so, yes.
Okay, so Oleg, am I right? Do you understand correctly that actual RecFaces already has facial recognition products ready to use in real airport environments, right?
Exactly. We RecFaces offer several ready-to-deploy products, both efficient for physical security, for access control, for identity verification, and displaying personalized content. Even such business cases we have. All of these products, they are fully functional, out of the box, and designed like for seamless integration into the existing airport systems. So this is what we call the box solutions. Just set up and use. No need to fine-tune, no need to debug, no need to code something excessive. We have implemented this for you. And the best part is that these solutions, as I have just mentioned, well, the installation of them may take 20 minutes only. It's faster than waiting for your passport to be manually checked sometimes. It's easy for airports to begin to enhance their operations this way. By the way, maybe I share some real experience that we have had. It was in Kenya. We have equipped an airport with our ID guard solution. We enhanced security in there. Well, in few words, the customer wanted some facial recognition to be already integrated with Pelco Video Expert VMS to strengthen airport security and see the flagged individuals. So here we are. The total duration of this project took 3 months, including the purchase of equipment. From a moment of negotiations to the successful software deployment, I mean, from here to here. And it took 4 business days only to install, fine-tune, and launch the software, having it adjusted to the airport environment. We reduced the incident investigation time due to real-time identification in a video stream, and we have added their instant alerts of any security breach. Security teams respond within seconds and not minutes because each identified face is linked to time, location, and is visible through our user-friendly interface.
Sounds really impressive, Oleg. And what if an airport needs something more specific? So, for example, fast-track access or intelligent personalized navigation. What do you think about it?
Well, that seems logical. That might be. And, you know, we have designed our solutions to be like ready-made. Apart from this, they are flexible enough to be customized for more complex needs I have mentioned, like a fast-track processing, personalized wayfinding, and like advanced speeding up passenger flow management. Our facial biometric software have an open API. That means they can easily connect and work with other systems at the airport, like boarding gates, security checks, airline applications, maybe. Since it is open, it's flexible for being used for each airport team to integrate with the existing tools. So no need to start from scratch. That is why we work together for a more complex solution. RecFaces provide ready-to-use biometric solution, and our partners, they use this open API to connect with other systems. For example, predictive video analytics, navigation systems, as I have mentioned, like personalized one and interactive ones like we see in Dubai Mall, document scanners, access control gates being automated by using this software we provide. So on our side, we provide stable, reliable, highly secure facial biometric software, while our partners, like integration partners, implement this into each unique environment. As you see, those complex challenges require complex solutions. And the right technology partnership and collaborations, they help airports integrate innovations with no disruptions. And here, Dr. Ajay Talwar, I assume it's the best time for you taking the floor.
Thank you, Oleg. Thank you very much for briefing such new development and very precise inputs related to airports. Just to add on, of course, surveillance and face recognition is a very important part of airports now, and especially where the customer want intelligent video analytics to be combined with face recognition. It is becoming the most relevant part, ensuring safety and security, which is the top priority, seeing multiple incidents in past in airports. Of course, surveillance plays a very important role. And in addition to that, surveillance should be such that it should help to operate airports more precisely by managing their traffic management. Traffic management can be management of vehicles, management of passengers, management of various movements at airports, and end of a day, operational efficiency, which correlates around ROI, should be also very important, because any airports which runs their end of a day intention is that return on investment should be there to the people who are investing money to develop these airports. So coming back, my thought process completely aligned with the RecFace, the way they want to enhance technology and solution to ensure that these airports should have all sort of advanced features with Bosch security systems. I just want to add few points which are moving ahead. Like not only ROI, the main focus of the customer today is with the technology trend changing. They want that the product which they are now using, that should be developed for a long-term development. It should not be short-term development. So that is why in all this surveillance product like cameras, they should be high-end cameras, of course, and these high-end cameras should have higher MTBF figures like 6 lakh hours, 5 lakh hours, or 1.5 lakh hours. And all these cameras, whether while moving, should recognize face, should give immediate alarms. That is why we call where the artificial intelligence plays a very important role. And in a next step ahead, a deep learning is also being developed using all these algorithms, so that, for example, at a particular airport in Malaysia, particular airport in India, or in any part of country, or in South Asia, you want specific feature. If some people are gathering together at a place which is restricted, immediately alarm should come. This something which is not allowed, immediate alarm should come. That basically comes with a solution with AI, artificial intelligence, face recognition, and deep learning program using these cameras which are high end now. So that end of a day, customer who is spending a huge money to on this infrastructure should get best result of out of that. In addition to that, to save time, energy, money, the technology, of course, is moving towards edge, like our smart mobile phones, smart iPads, all these all these now cameras are edge-based solutions, so that immediately data goes to a partner like FaceRec. They should immediately recognize the face and give an alarm, and parallelly, any other analytics which a customer wants should be real time. Moving ahead, in many countries now the cloud-based surveillance is officially allowed, so that is also being getting moved ahead, and it is helping customers to get a solution real time sitting at various places. Now, most of these solutions are AI-powered analytics, edge computing, remote access. I just want to add one more thing. When we are planning about scalability means at a large extent, bigger airports, the product and solution should be such level that the customer can make it scalable to any number of airports, or at the same airport he can expand to any number of requirements. So to ensure that this scalable solution can be immediately maintained, monitored, the remote access and centralized monitoring is also becoming a very important feature with flexibility as per customer requirement. Moving towards IoT, which help customer to ensure that they can use Internet of Things to their requirement, can also be enabled with any part of third-party analytics, which can also be enabled with the same camera and solution. Moving towards camera, it's not a question that which brand the customer wants. The more important customer is the resolution and the performance when the customer is using in a different shades and lights for the day. Once in the morning, then the afternoon, then in the evening, at the night, the camera should perform in equal level at all the time without affecting with time, day, colors, or with light intensity and all that. So that's what we always say as a Bosch. Our cameras are so much well designed to ensure super image quality. And we even ensure that whatever products we develop, they are with on-whiff profile with SDK kits, so that they can be interfaced with any third-party softwares and can further be developed with any sort of partnership, so that customer may not get restricted to limited options only. That's how we are partnering with the RecFaces, so that what products we are developing, they can further enhance and do a value addition to the upcoming airports which need all these sort of solutions. So that's my key highlight, and more specifically what we are focusing is to ensure that whenever we are developing any product, it should help to ensure customer that the cost is also reduced. That's why when we develop a product, we are using some technologies like CBIT and all that, where bandwidth consumption in terms of usage is also minimized. Only the part of video which is required that get transferred into the network. So that's how the bigger the network is, even in that case also the storage requirement will be very less. So end of a day, when a company or anybody who's analyzing the data to even recognize a face or to even to run any analytics, he need not to get into bigger data or bigger storage and all that. With these all technologies which are inbuilt, and of course one more important point, encrypted, And one more important point, safe and secure for all customers to avoid any sort of threats are developed by Bosch to ensure that when they use, they feel safe and secure. One critical example I just want to add on, we have seen recent multiple places or world where some wars have happened, where some countries has used technology against another country. So there I want to state again, whenever we develop a product, we ensure one very important thing is safety in terms of data encryption. The most important threat which is analyzed by many analysts nowadays is the easiest threat is to capture the complete network and then get into their system. You can increase the voltage to an extent that the small cameras can come small bombs, or can lead to any more such thought process which can create lot of issues at airports. So whenever we are developing these technologies, we ensure that they are first of all seamlessly integrated. Second point is it should be end-to-end encrypted. Third point is we ensure that there is no compromise on data security. That is why we have all that certification TL 1.2, TL 1.3. Third thing is we ensure that encryption is from end to end. So from the place where you integrate the camera to the end solution. If I make my camera safe and then the data get leaked through another network point or through server or through other point. So that's why when we develop a solution, we called it all the products developed by us are end-to-end encrypted. And wherever we are even partnering to ensure that customer get a benefit, we are also ensuring and giving all our SDK kits to our partners so that they ensure that when they develop these sort of product and solution, they also make the network and solution more safe, because technology is moving towards network-based solutions, and it is becoming it's a scalable solutions where anybody can try to get into or can try to disturb your day-to-day environment or day-to-day operations at airports. So always the thought process is to ensure in this complex environment we give the best solutions to the customer with latest technology trends. These are my inputs for all upcoming modern airports and solutions. Over to you, Alex, back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajay. Well, I assume we have to mention that when doing this complex, when approaching such a complex projects, especially with those companies who collaborate closely with airports, especially in Asia Pacific, we should say that those projects are hardly to be implemented alone, but as an ecosystem approach is what could help us both. That's why we, RecFaces, integrate deep into Bosch video management system for general surveillance, enhancing it with our facial recognition features, and for sure with Bosch BIS for access control. We have our products deeply integrated, and when working simultaneously, cameras by Bosch, interface uninterrupted, and the same one for RecFaces, the same interface, I mean, VMS, and RecFaces software deliver the best result. Let's take ID Guard, for example. This one product based for video management systems with an open API. It recognizes stuff instantly. It could identify other individuals like flagged individuals, VIPs, or people of interest. If there is a blacklisted person entering the area, well, the system immediately, as I just said, generates an alert, sends notification to the security team, and links this event to the video footage inside the Bosch video management system. We are both with location and timestamp for you to see the happening in real time. That's all right within Bosch interface.
Oleg, just want to add one more point what Oleg said. It's even more important when we are using this face recognition system. The pixels plays very important role in specific cameras. So whenever we develop a product, we ensure that these cameras are high quality with good pixels, so that when the same software get integrated into my cameras, the good quality pixels can reflect more, so that customer get accuracy to the maximum level. That's why the customer money which is spent, where sometimes the false images or false alarms are too high, that are reduced with this sort of technology. And there is always a focus to ensure that intelligent video club together with face recognition and give a customer the best output with maximum efficiency. So that's where the pixels also plays a very important role. That's why we use the topmost quality of chipsets and all those products to ensure that customer gets best out of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajay. And you know, those cameras, together with Bosch BVMS interface, is the great integration of RecFaces, which delivers huge benefits when using simultaneously. I mean, here we have a unified interface, so airports, when using Bosch BVMS, do not have to change any interface. They do not have to program, I mean, the integration company do not have to code something extra. They do not have to debug, or there is no need to, well, for custom development, because most of the cases, especially for the airport, are not that uncommon. 90% they are quite common. Everybody knows what everybody faces, as Mr. Harit just has mentioned. And it is a plug-and-play integration that works from the day one, as mentioned. You know, we do have a partner whose motto is simplifying complexity. So this is our main goal. We are here to simplify the complexity, not to add to it. And this integration, and this integration is made for scalability, as Dr. Ajay Talwar just mentioned. So whether it is a small regional airport expanding to a new terminal, or already a big major hub preparing for some championship or for international traffic growth, the solution grows together with them. Easy, efficient, and reliable. Yes,
yeah, and one more point to add, and if customer, like the day the things are getting developed towards more requirement in terms of analytics and all that, a lot of analytics like passenger experience you want to experience along with face recognition, along with surveillance, can be added in addition to whatever the need of an hour specific to airport, so that customer may not get stuck anywhere. That's why what we said, we are on with profile product and solutions, and in parallel to that, we give an SDK kit also along with our partner here, RecFace, so that the customer can need, if customer need any additional features which are coming as a thought process, can also be developed in terms of AI. So anything which is a new technology can also be interfaced with the existing technology, and customer need not to get deep driven to servers every time. So camera and the software can help us to get to a solution which can even save a huge cost in terms of hardware, in terms of your network and system also. That is an additional point what my friend Oleg said on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And regarding those SDKs you just mentioned and our APIs being open, we offer the smooth deployment of a demo, because both Bosch and RecFaces could deploy this demo with no disruption of existing airport operations. Airports may try the solution for free. It is easy to set up. We, as well as Bosch, I assume, provide free trainings for the specialized staff, for security guards, for the operation, and support, of course, we do also provide. This, what we offer, it increases the personnel readiness to be proactive, and it helps airport to enhance their security and operational systems. And support is what we offer as well.
So thank you so much, both Oleg and Dr. Ajay. As for me, it has been a wonderful and very interesting, diverse conversation. So I think it's great insight into integration and implementation. And probably now I would like to open the floor to our attendees. So again, if you have questions, please write them down in the chat. I already see several questions. You can ask us regarding the deployment, use cases. So please, any kind of question you might have, please write them down in the chat. And meanwhile, let's just shift focus to a question that's top of mind for, I think, all the airports worldwide. So it's about regulations, it's about passengers, it's about the somehow even legal part. So how can we deploy smart AI-powered tech like facial biometrics, for example, without compromising on data privacy and compliance? Something that we have partially already touched with Gaurang. So you know that airports today stand at the intersection, right, of security, of efficiency, and passenger experience. But all of this must be balanced, right? All these ingredients must be balanced with strict data protection laws and growing public concern around the data privacy and compliance. So I think it would be valuable to hear the Gaurang's perspective on this pressing topic, right? And especially from the airport industry point of view. So Gaurang, let's just go back to my question in the beginning of our webinar regarding the data privacy. So what do you think about it?
I think, like you rightly mentioned, that data privacy is a very key element into the adoption rate of these technologies, right? Because it's more about how can you assure passengers to use these kind of technologies once they can only use it once they are really assured about that, yes, whatever these systems are going to capture either about the biometrics or their facial prints in line with a lot of cyber attacks, cyber scams, and other things ongoing. So that becomes a key highlight of itself. And I think that's where, like, as a passenger, whenever we travel, once we are very assured of, which is ultimately the responsibility of the airport operator who is going to deploy these solutions. So that's where, like, it becomes a primary responsibility for the technology providers to ensure that, yes, data privacy, the right encryption, the right source platforms, and also the kind of the data exchange which goes in, including the storage and other things. Because in this particular case, biometrics, it's not only about a local data exchange. It's far beyond the local thing because it's more about the cross-border exchange of all these like biometrics and other things in a longer term, which would be impacting even the international passenger flow and other things, right? So.
Thank you very much, Gaurang. And now, actually, I would like to make only the same question to Oleg. So, Oleg, how do RecFaces actually face this data privacy storage, right, and compliance in terms of the facial biometric solutions, and how does it like align with these local privacy concerns and regulations?
Thank you so much, Gaurang, for highlighting this. Thank you so much, Christina. Well, we, being a facial biometric software company, face those questions on everyday basis. We know how to handle them. And our RecFaces products are being designed to fully comply with all the GDPR needs, GDPR requirements, and to fully comply with any local state regulations. What I mean by saying this is like mentioned by Gaurang, if there is a data breach, I mean, if there is a hacker attack that got access to the database of facial data being stored somewhere on the server, well, our software products do not store anything. They do not store raw facial images or personal data. Instead, we create biometric templates, like mathematical representation that cannot be reverse engineered into a picture or a photo. And these templates are just a code. They are useless to hackers, and thus they are extremely secure. And the same for sharing. As mentioned by Mr. Harit, we, RecFaces, do not share any data with any third parties. At least because we do not store it. We do not have anything to share. Our systems, they run fully on premises. Well, of course, we could provide a solution for a secure cloud environment fully under the airport's control, but sure, we suggest and advise for it to be fully on premises as it is more secure. So no facial data leaves the infrastructure. There was another question regarding the data storage. How long should the data being stored? Well, we, RecFaces, do not set the rules of any storage of how long do you want to keep it. The one who does is the end user of RecFaces solutions. Airports decide for themselves how long the data is being retained, whether it is 1 day or 30 days for operational review. It is the airport who controls their retention policies. And data deletion, of course, a crucial question that was mentioned even half a year ago in the previous webinar in Indian shopping malls. Well, if there is a need for a person to opt out or revoke consent, well, our products are designed to do this conveniently. Once the decision is made, the biometric template might be easily deleted. This, shortly, to put it in a nutshell, we do not support compliance. We empower airports to manage privacy, transparency, and convenience in the passenger management systems.
Great answer, Oleg. So thank you very much for such insights regarding the RecFaces work. And now, actually, I would like to make the same question for Dr. Ajay Talwar. So, how do Bosch systems support these privacy-forward principles? How does it work?
So very, very important things. What we ensure is that the product what we are developing, they are end-to-end encryption. So we ensure that there should not be any loophole when we are developing these products. That is one of the important things. Second thing is we call it AES, that is Advanced Encryption Standards. Earlier it was 32-bit, then it came 64-bit, now 128-bit. We are even 256-bit. So what I'm trying to highlight, we ensure that whatever the latest standard, we ensure we comply in that product. The third point, which is we call it certification by TL 1.2, TL 1.3, specific to products and all that. In addition to that, we ensure that any movement, anything log in, log out, all the audit trails are also maintained, and that should be available, and that cannot be deleted. We have seen multiple sites, multiple requests from customers where we ensure that if something happens wrong, they had all these audit trails present in their logbook so that they can ensure that whatever has happened, sometime some internal things happened and they need to ensure that they check who has done that. And of course, there are a lot of rule-based access, which like restricted entry, only limited entries, multiple entries that can be defined as per customer requirement. And we ensure that everything is automized. There is nothing individually driven by any individual who can do changes on that until and unless he's authorized to do that. In addition to that, whenever we are using any product chipsets also, why I push this point, chipsets, we ensure we use the top chipsets which are present worldwide. So there is no compromise on security even while developing the smallest part of the product like camera. So the thought process is the customer should not suffer. And one important another point, seeing the market like India and Asia Pacific, now we have started made in India products also with all these standards, so that customer can get an advantage of this duty and all that. He get more economical product, whether any part of Asia, Malaysia, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, all these countries, so that he should get a benefit of these duties or manufactured in India. But we ensure that all the security standards and certifications are done before even we move to any next step for these developments. And least not the last, whatever firmwares we are developing, we are ensuring that they are also fully hack proof. Because the best part today is if somebody wants to hack your system or somebody want to make your system corrupt, or you want to ensure that your cameras, multiple cameras at airport stop non-functioning, the first part is the adding of a firmware which can corrupt the software. Indirectly, we call it virus or something like that. So firmwares are also developed by Bosch in-house team to ensure all the security standards. So these are the few things which we ensure in terms of privacy. And of course, with partner like RecFace, we are also ensuring that when we are developing these technology interfaces, we are also ensuring and sharing all these SDK documents and kits so that when they develop the product, same encryption can be further passed on so that customers should get an advantage of that. So that is the thought process where both companies are developing and plan to further develop these solutions to ensure that customer get a benefit out of that. That's all from my side on this.
Great, Dr. Ajay. Thank you very much. I would resume what I have heard from both of you, from you, Dr. Ajay, and from Oleg, that privacy and convenience actually aren't mutually exclusive, right? So as long as the right infrastructure, policies, and transparent communication are in place, so then everything works correctly, right? Oleg, so what do you think about such a point, such a recap?
Yes, you got it definitely right. For us to build an extremely secure and at the same time convenient environment, let's call it digital first airports, both airport operators, small and big ones, the technical teams, the technological partners, and the vendors must provide passengers clarity, choice, and convenience, like to offer them a simple opt-in, opt-out process. By doing this, airports can roll out a facial biometric solution with confidence, convenience, security, and of course, with public support. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, both Oleg and Dr. Ajay. I think that before we actually go to the contact us part, I would like to answer the questions from people from our chat, from our audience. So actually, there are questions for different people, and I would like to start from the chat, from the shared chat. So the first question was for Gaurang. For Gaurang. So somebody mentioned that they already have single biometric solution for passenger from airport entry point to boarding gate with integration with SBD, and separate solution for staff. So the question is, how can we integrate and have unified solution?
So I think by right of it and in numbers of because when we compare the staff numbers, the number is quite minuscule as compared to the overall passenger numbers, because when you're processing for passengers, it's more about the regulatory compliances and the other stuff. But yeah, by far, though right now this unified solution, at least like, I don't know if RecFaces is doing this one, but at least for now we have not seen this one wherein staff and passengers both can be done. But I'm sure that once the settlement of things is done, because right now if you have a better biometrics for domestic passengers, so once it's also implemented for transfer passengers, international and everyone, then with a common database, it would also be quite pivotal to include staff in this one, because ultimately it's more about the identity verification. So let's say, but what has to be also done is, because the airport entry passes is a primary part, because based on the airport entry passes, the staff is being given restricted access across different parts of an airport. So I think that's one of the challenge which needs to be looked into. But I'm sure that in coming future there would be ways of countering that one so that you can have one unified solution.
Gaurang, and I think that the second question that is also addressed to you slightly like has the connection with the first question. So could you touch upon the Indian context of adapting the technology and probably some brief use cases?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Indian, sorry, I didn't got the question. If you could just repeat that one.
Yeah, sure. Then talking about like the technologies at the airports in general. So could you mention some use cases in India and comment in general on the Indian context of adapting the technology?
So I would say the one of the best examples in India is DigiYatra in itself, which is essentially like a platform which empowers every airport to, I mean, make use of these effective biometrics and other things. So that's one of the best use case. And the advantages what they have incentivized for the passengers to use this DigiYatra has been immense. I mean, as a traveler myself, because just last year I had been almost going on 20 minimum flights across different parts of India in a month because of my job reasons. And that's where like I could feel that as a regular DigiYatra user, with this digitalization, you had much more benefits and you could just skip the queues at most of the major points of whether it's a terminal entry point or the check-in and all those stuff. So even for the security lanes, they had these dedicated lines for passengers who are using DigiYatra. So I think that's one of the very successful examples being implemented on a wider level across India.
Gaurang, and there is another question that is also addressed to you, and I would like to make it right now. So coming back to the topic of implementing technologies, including facial recognition technologies at the airport, we were mostly talking both with you and with other speakers about big airports. But one of our participants says that still smaller airports struggle to implement, or maybe a very challenging thing to implement this IT like infrastructures, right, and technologies, because it demands quite big costs. So is there any mechanism to assist smaller airports too?
I mean, in my last portfolio, I've been handling airports right from a 2.5 million passenger per annum capacity to a 45 million passenger per annum capacity. And what we could see over there was that even for the airports of 2.5 to 5 million of capacity, the smaller airports, even across them, when we had implemented this DigiYatra or the biometric initiatives for the passengers, it worked out quite well, even for the airport in terms of the numbers. So while, I mean, what happens is that, yes, there might be the initial challenges when you're implementing for a smaller airport because the volumes are very less. I mean, the number of gate entries and the other things which comes around it might be less. But then what essentially happens in the longer term is that your operational cost and the other associated things are really worthy around it. For example, like most of the smaller airports are being unified. If I speak about India, so the bigger airports or the hub airports are being with the private operators, while the smaller airports, most of them are still there with the Airport Authority of India. So, I mean, they have a so-called volume negotiation and the other things of procurement, which helps them to even like optimize the overall cost of implementation. So, and like I said, so one is the cost of implementation, which is the capex around it. But the second part, OPEX, is always on the brighter side when you look forward what happens after implementing the technology in itself.
Thank you, Gaurang, very much. And
Christina,
and
if you don't mind, I have one more addition to what just mentioned to both
please.
solutions as like representative of a facial biometrics company and witnessing how all these airport projects and not airport transportation of the whole projects are being done. Like regarding the smaller airports, remember this case like we did in Peru. Apart from these non-air revenues, we deployed the facial recognition to protect them, the airport, from money loss. I mean, when investing into the facial biometrics, into our solutions ID guard, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's correct. It's correct.
Yes, they reduced the amount of illegal taxi drivers gaining money from the passengers traveling with them by using the airport premises. So this is the solution. How could the airport invest money into money loss prevention? Apart from this, as we just mentioned with Dr. Ajay Talwar, there is an opportunity to deploy a demo, not at the whole premises, but on a separate airline, as we suggest, for the airport and airline both, to give it a try, to see how fast people are being processed to the gate, how convenient the way becomes. And there would be no need to invest money into hiring more personnel to check IDs manually. This will be a cost-saving solution, first of all. And this will increase operational efficiency, which will allow this small airport to grow faster because of enhanced convenience and more airlines being ready to sign a contract with them. I assume this is a relevant question as well, and a relevant answer, I mean.
Thank you, Oleg. Thank you very much. And actually, let's continue with you because I have a couple of questions for you. So actually, we have two questions, but we can unite them. So the question is, can facial biometric software be integrated with other biometric methods like fingerprint? And at the same time, another question we have is, which type of software are used in facial biometric technology?
Well, thank you for the question. As per the first one regarding the integration, yes. As I said, it is an open API that might be used to connect to any other open API systems. The same with fingerprint. By the way, we already work with fingerprints, but not in terms of mutual integration, but in terms of replacement due to its ineffectiveness in a particular case. That's highly important. And the second is a question regarding the software. Well, we, RecFaces, make our software based on the third-party algorithm that we consider the most relevant, the most accurate, and the most fast. We make our software based on it, and then we integrate it into some other products made by Bosch, like Bosch BVMS, Bosch BIS, some other technological vendors, of course, that Bosch collaborates with as well. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Oleg. And actually, we have a very interesting question here that probably would be for probably both for Oleg and Dr. Ajay. So international passengers carry passports issued by their respective countries. That's logical. How do you validate the visa and passport of foreign nationals that are verified for authenticity for entry into the destination country using biometrics? Normally, it attracts penalties if the passenger is deported. And what sort of integration are you proposing alongside biometrics to carry out these checks? Probably it should be more like for our third speaker, but unfortunately he has already left. So probably Dr. Ajay or Oleg, you have some ideas for these questions.
See, I just want to add what Oleg said. When we are talking about monitoring and surveillance, of course, biometric and surveillance comes together. So how it comes together is that the recent example is in Bangalore Airport in India. If you see a lot of cameras at the entrances installed with Bosch products. So when any movement happens, the face gets recognized through a camera. Of course, then it moves into a system. Then you have to interface with your biometric. And when the person goes for biometric verification, that need to be immediately checked with server or with your solution, and immediately response should reflect to the person who is verifying that, whether this is valid, non-valid, or any issue on that. That could be the more precise way to move ahead. But still I feel more brainstorming need to be done, and we need to actually understand what is an actual requirement from a customer point of view. It is a generic question, or it's more to be more precise, or he want that some camera or some scanner should even see the visa validity and all that. If more details can be shared, then the question answers can be elaborated further. But of course, my view is that camera and biometric will work together. Of course, face recognition plays a parallel role to ensure to ensure that the person who is having that passport is also getting matched. But this can be more further elaborated after having more details specific to this question.
Oleg, do you have anything to add?
Something?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ajay, for such an addition. Well, regarding this international passengers issue and this like biometric carry-out doc checks, well, as far as the security teams know, I mean the airport, who's responsible for the boarding, or not for the boarding, but for the manual document verification, there is a regular software and hardware the same for checking the passwords. It's being deployed among like 80 countries, even more. And well, we have an integration with them to verify the identity of the passport holder. That's crucially important. And this, as far as I know, is what is being checked first when matching manually the face and the photo. So this can be solved. For sure, regarding the whole international transportation system, well, there should be a huge database, and people should opt in. That could be done mostly, preferably, in terms of airlines. Like privileged users got boarded to the aircraft more fast and more convenient than those who did not opt in to the facial biometrics. So it's up to airline to decide if they want to let a person to give their biometrics and travel with this airline internationally due to facial biometric readers here and there. I assume this may solve the issue and make the way, even international one, more convenient.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, both Oleg and Dr. Ajay. And we have the last but not the least question. So how to overcome manual intervention of boarding pass check by airline staff while passenger enters into aircraft? So I think that's partially something that we have already mentioned today, right? When talking about the automatization of the whole process of a passenger being already inside the airport, but still, so how can we overcome manual intervention?
Due to an integration, I assume, because there is some info on the ticket that is linked to the passport that is linked to the face. So this is like a triangle of a facial depending entry ticket. So this might be the way of solving this when a person being onboarded to the plane, they got their face captured, their ID is being proved, and then they can go smooth to the aircraft with no need to check the ID once again because the ID is the face only. And this will allow not to keep 2 or even 3 staff members at the boarding gates to manually verify documents, person's identity, and their boarding pass. But, well, as far as I've seen, in India, there are people, like staff members, watching you not carrying some excessive luggage. So, like, okay, at least one person living in there. But there are 2, 3 for some war work. As for the airport, they would be available to do some more relevant, more important tasks instead of routine checks when in a hurry. So this is my answer to this question. Thank you so much.
Just to add on to that, Alex, one important technology which we can further enhance in this requirement is we are already using, this is my thought process, which can be implemented. We are already using DigiYatra on it. And DigiYatra is capturing your face when you get into the airport because your data is already given to the airport authority and all that. Now the same cameras are installed at the end of that particular place where you're entering an aircraft. So same camera, if used and interfaced with the face recognition and DigiYatra, then there is no need to recheck that part. So automatically when the system is having an information that this particular person is boarding a flight, for example, Delhi to Mumbai, and already DigiYatra has allowed that particular customer to enter into the premises after security check. At the last checkpoint, the passengers when they reach at the last point, automatically show the face to the camera, face recognition interface with DigiYatra automatically recognize that, and there is no need to re-verify that. This is another thought process which I feel can further enhance the passenger experience using technology from Bosch, RecFaces, and DigiYatra, and can be implemented to make the system better at airport and faster.
Thank you very much, both Oleg and Dr. Ajay. And I think that with that, we can already recap the webinar. So first of all, let me say huge thanks to absolutely each and every speaker of our webinar, then to everybody who joined us for this amazing webinar for the APAC region. And I think that facial biometrics isn't just another tech innovation. As for me, it's the future of airport industry, of airport security and passenger experience in general. And I think that those who already embrace this technology, that are embracing it already today, will set the new standard for efficiency, I think, but also for safety and customer satisfaction in aviation. But complex challenges require complex solution, right? And that's exactly what we offer with the integration of facial biometrics, intelligent security systems, and airports. So tech partnerships, as for me, are not just transforming airport operations. They are reshaping the entire passenger's journey across the APAC region. Right, Oleg?
Yes, I completely agree. And thus, I assume the best way for you to understand the impact of this collaboration is to experience it yourself. That's why we offer a free 3-month demo. You can see firsthand how ID Guard and ID Gate transform airport security and increase operational efficiency. You may try this in your environment with no risks and no disruption. You may get full support and trainings to your team, and you can deploy this within just 20 minutes. Getting started is very simple. You may drop us an email or scan this QR code to drop me a WhatsApp message. So now we may work together and redefine airport security and passenger experience with RecFaces facial biometrics. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all the attendees. Thank you so much, Christina, for moderating this event. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajay, for sharing your expertise. And thank you, Mr. Gaurang Harit. I assume you're still here, for sharing your expertise as well and delivering your professional point of view on behalf of airport manager.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for such an amazing webinar. Thank you, Dr. Ajay, again, one more time. And
Thank you, everyone.
And hope that we'll be meeting for other events, for other activities. We'll gather together and have amazing experience in working towards a better tech future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best. All the best, the attendees. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.